Okay, welcome.
Yes, welcome. My name is Tor Atle. I live in Norway, and I'm one of the teachers responsible for this course. Last week we had another webinar. It was a more general one about concurrent design. Today we will talk a bit about how you actually should work together, or how we decide, we suggest that you should work together in this course. So hopefully it will be useful and interesting for you. And with me I also have Börje. Börje, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, my name is Börje Hansson. I live in Sweden, not so far from Tor Atle. We have a lot in common, working together for many years. I live in Östersund in the middle of Sweden, and I'm at the Department of Computer Science at Mid-Sweden University. And I'm also the leader of this project, the Flight project. Okay, Tor Atle, I will stay in the background and check all your questions in the chat and give you some more polls. So.
Yeah, so we can start with the presentation.
Yes, I will change share.
Yeah, like I said, last week we talked about concurrent design more in general. Today in this webinar we will talk about how to use some of the principles concurrent design is based upon when you're actually making your business plan. So that's the key subject today, and like I said last time, concurrent design is a complex method that takes some time and practice to learn, and to actually have the maximum benefit from this method, it takes a lot of work. In this course, we will use some of the principles from the method, and this will hopefully make or help you make a better business plan model. Concurrent design was originally developed by NASA to solve multidisciplinary problems while saving time, money, and still have good quality. And the job of writing a business plan is actually quite a multidisciplinary problem or a challenge, because when you start working with the business plan, you realize that you don't just have to know about the basic of your business idea or the product or the service you're going to offer, but you also have to know something about market, something about financing, something about advertising, maybe something about production, and so on. So making a business plan is actually a multidisciplinary challenge. And what we have seen through the years, and I think many of you have experienced, is that sometimes when people are solving a multidisciplinary problem, things get out of focus, it's very time consuming, and often we don't get the result we want. And that's the reason why we will use some of the concurrent design principles to help us and yourself go in the right direction, realizing the final product that you want to achieve. Concurrent design, it means the desired result, that means the business plan, will be achieved by means of a process, the right people, and utilization of the appropriate tools. The result, like I say, is the business plan, the process It's a process that we suggest, and we will come back to that later, and we will also use the Osterwalder canvas model. The right people, in this case, in this course, the right people will be the students. So you are one of the right people. And when it comes to the tools you will use, this is partly up to you or up to each group that will work together and meet each other through the Canvas learning management system. But we will get more into that also. So like I say, in concurrent design, we often use the word expert. We don't say people, we say experts. But in this case, the expert will be you, the students. And I'm not sure that you can claim to be expert in all the areas of making a business plan, but hopefully through this course you will get to know some more. So that's positive. The process in this course, when you're writing your business plan, we suggest that you have 4 work sessions, online work sessions. And you also need some preparation before these work sessions. And like we discussed in the last webinar, a work session is not a meeting, not a traditional meeting where you sit down, just talk and discuss what to do. A work session is the people getting together and doing some actual job in the session. And that's partly also the reason why we need the tools, because the tools are very important in the session. We need the tools for communicating, and we also need at least one tool for collaborating together, because we're going to do the actual job, or at least part of the actual job, in the work sessions. And the result from this course in each of the groups will hopefully at least be a business model, and based on this business model using Osterwalder Canvas, you hopefully will end up with a more or less finalized business plan. But all of the teachers, we know that you only have 50 student hours to spend on this, but hopefully you will get a long way when it comes to making the business plan. What is important to write a good business plan or business model? Luckily, I'm not just in my everyday life, I'm not just working with concurrent design, I also teach in entrepreneurship. And what I know is that to make a good business model or a good business plan, you need to have some knowledge about this. And that's why we have this more or less theoretical modules in the course. Our plan is that you should go through the learning material, and then you should get enough knowledge to actually be able to write the business plan. Another thing that's important, not when you're solving a multidisciplinary problem, or maybe especially when you're going to write a business plan, is that all the people involved in the writing, all the people in the group, then they should have the same context and same understanding. Because if maybe Mario from Spain has one business idea, and he is going to work together with you other students from different parts of Europe, it's important that his idea and his thoughts can be transferred into your head, so to speak, so that you understand and have the same view upon the business idea and what the challenge is. And the way to achieve this is talking together and working together, because if you have different view, different understanding, and the context is very different for the people who participate in the work group, then it will be difficult to reach a result that is very good, at least. And also we have distribution of work. Sometimes people maybe try to sit down by themselves and write a business plan or business model, and this might work. But in this course, it's important due to the number of hours that are available, and due to the fact that you're going to work together in this course, you should distribute the work among you. But one challenge when you distribute work, and this you can see more about in a scenario in module 3, is that sometimes when you distribute work, you can have a problem is people don't have the same understanding. Because then one person responsible for marketing is thinking one thing and then have understood the business idea in one way, while the other person who are looking at customer segments or something, he has a different view, and this is challenging. And that's why in concurrent design we work in these work sessions, because then we can actually talk to each other and actually write things and do the work all together. And then it's easier to secure that the whole group have more or less a common understanding. Another point on this list is what I call feeling of responsibility. This course is a MOOC. It's an online course. It's free of charge, but it's very important if you're going to succeed in this course that when you join a group and when you get the responsibility for a task, it's important that you actually take the job and do it seriously. Because what you will contribute to the business plan will be important for the total of the final product. So please recognize that your contribution is very important for the total result. Another thing we need to do to write a good business plan is to be able to take decisions. Because we can use a lot of time, we can use days, weeks, months and so on, just trying to discuss and maybe not agree, and this is not fruitful. We have planned a number of work sessions, and like I will show you later, we will start with the situation analysis, then we will look at possibilities, and after that we will go to look at or take the final decision based upon what we think is the best for the total business plan. And this is especially a subject in session 3, but we need to be able to take decisions. Another thing that's important is to be able to see the interdependencies between the different subjects in a business plan and a business model. And to be able to see the interdependencies, we need to communicate, and we will also recommend that you use shared documents. In this way, by talking together and by being able to work in the same document, writing the business plan, we have a better chance of seeing how things are linked together. Because in the Osterwolde canvas model that you will use, it looks like there are 9 different topics, and that's partly true, but even so they are closely linked together. So that's important that we are able to see this. Communication is another essential factor, and we have mentioned it already, but it's important that you use the correct tools and into details. When it comes to communication, you can focus on communication in many ways, but one thing that's important when you work online is the fact that you have the right tool, that you make sure that you have sound, if you want a picture and so on, that this works fine. Because in the work sessions, hopefully you will spend a number of hours working with your co-students in your group on one business idea, and it's very tiresome trying to talk to someone if the sound is scratchy or there are some delays on the internet line and so on. Another thing that's important, and this is important regarding the final result or the final business plan, is that we, as far as possible, try to use accurate information or precise information. When you talk to your friends, you might say, I think that, or I have heard that, and then you say something and they say, okay, and maybe that's true. When you're writing a business plan and someone is going to implement it later on, it's important that you not just believe something, but as far as possible, you should know things. And that's why it's very important when you work with the business plan on the different subjects that you try to search for information and find correct answers, because they are crucial if you want to succeed when you implement the business plan later on. Another thing that's important is to try to find the best solution, not jump to a solution. Sometimes people, when they start looking at the subject or start thinking about the topic that's important in the business plan or the business model, they jump to some conclusion instead of thinking who could be the customer segments we want to address in this with this business idea. They just say, okay, we would like teenagers between 10 and 15 years. And then they write it down, and then that's the law, and that's the way they're working. But the best thing is if you're actually able to find the best solution by finding information and then taking the decision. And that's also why we suggest that you start with a session looking at today's situation, a situation analysis, and then move on looking at possibilities, and then not before the third session you start to take a solution to find the best solution and take decisions and so on. Another thing that we know will help you on the way of making a good business plan is that you follow a predefined method and process. We have chosen to use the Osterwalder canvas model, and we have also chosen to have a process based upon some principles from concurrent design. And this will hopefully help you work in a better way, and it will be easier for you, since many of you are not experienced entrepreneurs from the past. It will help you focus in the same way and achieve your goal of making a business model and a business plan. At the bottom of this slide you see a link to the Osterwalder a presentation of the Osterwalder canvas model. So if you haven't started working on module 2 yet in this course, you can see this short presentation, and then you will understand a bit more about Osterwalder. But this is a subject in its own module later on. But yeah, are there any questions yet, or?
Yes, we have a discussion going on here between someone called Börje and Tatiana, actually about the difference between a business model and a business plan. Do you have a good? I received some answers. Do you have something to add to that?
Yes, I can answer it based on my view at least. A business model, it tells many of the same things that you can find in a business plan, but I would say that a business plan, it focuses more on the whole of how to start a business and how to get the funding and so on. Often we say that the business plan is more or less a selling document, but a business model, it's more or less a more internal document containing information of how one would like to go forward within the company to achieve certain goals. And many of the goals can be quite similar, but in my view the business model is more for the company, but the business plan is more to get, or more or less a selling document to get investors and so on. But I'm sure if you Google it, and you will find many different views on this one. And particularly looking at the Osterwalder canvas model, we can see that it should be possible to use the Osterwalder model and maybe in less time come up with a business model. But if you're going to work thoroughly and write a good business plan, this might be more time consuming. But maybe some person would disagree with me on that one also. But what we could see was that by using the Osterwalder canvas model that is very popular now in many countries, it's a fast way and it's a quite clear method of how to get the students in this course working together and addressing important topics, which are also a part of a typical business plan.
Okay. Should we continue with the presentation? Other questions?
We can do that.
Yes.
So in this slide we said something about what is important to write a good business plan model, and now we will go a bit more into detail regarding the process, the people and the tools. And the process, people and tools are the basic of the concurrent design methods. Now we will say some more about this and how this is useful in this course. When you are going to work together, you are working in a distributed environment. And the fact that you are not sitting together, the students who have formed a group around a business idea, the fact that they are not sitting together in a room working face to face makes the whole work a bit more challenging. And that's the reason why we should try to simplify it and have some basic rules and try to do things, give some suggestions of how things can be done. So we will address this a bit now. When it comes to the results, in general we can say that the production of project results and deliverables is always very important, since these are the very reason the project is. And the projects of for you students right now is to produce a business plan. But on the way, when you're working, maybe you don't focus just on the final result, but you might have some intermediate results. And when you're working with the concurrent design principles and you're going to work through work sessions, it might be a good idea that you view the results from each session as important. Because, like I will tell you more later, we will start with a situation analysis, and it could be a good idea to work on to look at the situation analysis as intermediate results that are important for the final result. If we move forward, to be able to reach the result of this course, the business plan, like I said earlier, we will use something called the Osterwalder canvas model. And the Osterwalder canvas model is addressed in module 2 in this course. We will not go into detail, but we can say that the Osterwalder canvas model is put together with 9 different topics. The topics are, in short, who are the key partners, what are the key activities to make this business idea or product work or sell. What are the key resources that we need? What is the value proposition what we're going to offer to the customer? What customer segments do we aim at? What kind of customer relationship is required? What channels are best suited to deliver the value proposition that we have come up with? We will also look at cost structure and revenue streams. So to reach our result, we recommend using Osterwolder Osterwolder Canvas model, and like I said, go to module 2 to learn more about this. We also said that you need to go through a process. A process, we can say, is a set of activities or tasks that produces a specific output. And a very important activity in concurrent design processes are what we call sessions. So the sessions, we recommend that you in your group plan a set of sessions where you work together. And like it says, a session is almost a kind of a workshop where the project participants work together to reach the defined goals. When we work in a physical room, we usually say that the session should be about 3.5 hours. And during those 3.5 hours, one should work together trying to reach the goal of the session. Since you are going to work online, I think that it might be a good idea if you plan sessions for about maybe 2 hours, because it's a lot more challenging working together online, listening to each other and so on. But when you're going to work with sessions, you need to know upfront what's going to be the target or the topic or the aim for each session. And like we will see in the next slide, we have suggested that you should have 4 sessions. And during those sessions, each of Osterwolder 9 topics, like I shortly presented earlier on, will be covered in each session. For example, if you look at one topic from the Osterwolder model, let's say the customer segment, that this could be an example. We will address customer segments in each of the work session. In the first session, called the situation analysis, we will typically aim to describe the current situation regarding customer segments. What do we know about this today? What are the situation today? In the second session, which we call a study of possibilities, we will aim to describe relevant possibilities with respect to the customer segments for the upcoming business. In the third session, which we call selection of solutions, we will aim to select and define precisely the target customer segments of the upcoming business that we are planning. And in the fourth session, we call final result approval, we will aim to finalize the business plan with an accurate description of the target customer segments. So like you see, instead of just using Osterwolder model and say that you should sit down and just tell us what the customer segment is, we say that you start with the situation analysis, looking at customer segments, then you look at are there any other possibilities regarding customer segments, and after that job is done, then you select the actual customer segments that you're going to target. And we suggest that for all 9 of the Osterwolder topics, you should do this job in the sessions. Requirements for the process. In this case, you should align the process to the 9 elements of the Osterwalder canvas or business model. And like we say, we suggest that you follow a process that starts with some preparation. In your student group, each participant should become familiar with Osterwalder 9 elements and consider them in light of the upcoming business or the business idea that has been suggested and that you will work upon. Next, we suggest that you have a session called situation analysis, where you look at what is the situation for the upcoming business or business idea with respect to each of the 9 business model elements. Then secondly, you should plan a new session called a study of possibilities, where you look at what possibilities exist within each of the 9 elements. The third session, like I said earlier, is a selection of solutions. There you should try to find the right solution regarding each of the 9 Osterwalder elements. And hopefully in the last session you should discuss and try to come up with a final business plan and what it should look like. So like you see, we are taking it step by step, and we recommend that you work in this way. Use the Osterwalder model as a basic, look at the 9 elements, but go through a process where you look at the situation first regarding the elements, then look at are there any other possible solutions, and at the end try to take some decision on what solutions you would like to go for in regarding your business model and your business plan. Guidelines regarding the people. The people must know what a business plan is. The people must know about CCD sessions and so on. The people must be prepared before sessions. The people must have a common understanding of the goals. And the people must be able to manage and use necessary tools. When it comes to theory about business plan, CCD, and Osterwalder, you will get this from the course. When it comes to preparation, this is something you need to do by yourself. When it comes to having a common understanding, it means that you need to talk together and you need to get things down into writing also. And when it comes to the tools you are going to use, you have to agree on this within your group in the course. What we recommend, or what we have been using, is, like in this webinar, we use a tool called Adobe Connect, but maybe not the whole group have access to this tool. So maybe you can use Skype to talk and communicate, and maybe you can use Google Documents to co-write. This we have some experience with this from before, and it works. Usually it works quite okay. In general, to make a business plan, you need the right people with the right skills. And in this course, you must be the right people, and then you also need to get the right skills. A good idea is that each person in this group or in your group regarding the business idea you're working on, try to find out what do I know, what I'm good at, where can I contribute the best, and so on. Because this is important when you're going to distribute the main responsibility for the different elements in the Osterwalder model. In general, we can say that in this course you need some skills or some knowledge about the Osterwalder topics. You will get this from the course. You need to know something about the product or service the business idea is based upon. You should know something about the market and marketing. This is important in a business plan. You need to know a little bit about finance. Maybe you need to know something about production, because if the business idea is based upon something that's going to be produced, it's important to know how this can be done and how this will affect costs and so on. You need to know something about sales, maybe, and also you have law. It can be patent law or other things that might be important. And in general, it's good to know about in entrepreneurship and innovation. So I would suggest that you as a student in this course, we can go through this list and see what are you good at. Maybe some of the persons in the group have some special knowledge in one of these areas, and then that person can take the main responsibility for this area in the business plan. Another good idea in each of the groups you are now forming on Canvas is that you try to agree and find one person who can be the main responsible in the work sessions. In the work sessions, you're all going to be equal, and you're going to discuss work with the topics of Osterwalder and so on. But it's always good to set a group leader or have what we call a facilitator, who might distribute some tasks and make sure that everyone gets to say what they need to say and so on. This is a general advice for you. When it comes to the tools you're going to use, it's important that we have access to all tools necessary to write the business plan in online sessions. Because like I said, we're not just going to have meetings between the students, but hopefully you will have what we call work sessions. And if you don't have access to the tools you need, you can't do the job. And that's quite typical in some meetings. When if you have been working somewhere, you go to a meeting and then we agree on what to do, but then afterwards we go back to the office to do the job, because that's where we have the tools we need. When you're going to work in an online session, you need to have access to the tools. And luckily for us, when it comes to writing a business plan, if the business idea is not too technical, it might be enough to have one communication tool and one expert tool. And in our case, this could be the Google documents, maybe, because there we can sit and work together. And it's also a good idea, if you use Google Docs for co-writing, then you should also have some structure, or make some structure where to save the documents you are working on, so that one can be sure that all the persons in the group can find all the relevant documents that are produced and all other interesting information that are important when you're going to write the business plan. In this way, you can work also asynchronously, and you can go inside and see what have the other persons been doing since the last session when you're going to prepare for the next one. So that's more or less about the tools. Börje, is there any other questions?
Yes, finally we had one student dare to tick the no. And the question was, do you understand why the allocation of roles for the CSD sessions are important? And as you said in the last slide, we don't think that one person can handle all these expertise. So, and that's why you're doing this BMY. You're looking at your own how good entrepreneur you are, what expertise you have, and then you hopefully realize that you need help from some other people around you. So you form a group in this course, and hopefully you use the same method in the real life after this as well. And you form these groups so you get the most expertise covering the most of these topics. So perhaps you're looking for somebody knows a little more about financing, about economics. You perhaps need help from somebody knows more about advertising. So in that way, you put together an ideal group where you have people covering all these expertise, and then you have a really good business plan.
Yes,
So,
and I also can say in general that usually when we are working in a traditional concurrent design project, the roles are connected with what should I say, real expert within difficult areas, and together with the role there is also you also get the power to take the decision within your expert area. And in this way we know that there are different people with different actual expert skills that also have the right or the opportunity to take decisions right then and there in the sessions, and this is a way of moving forward. In this case, we might get a group of students working together that know more or less the same about many of these areas. But even so, like Börje said, it's important to divide into some roles and some area responsibilities, making things go faster forward. And usually it's also helpful if one has special focus on one subject area, because then it's easier to see how one decision in one area is affecting some other decisions in another area. So in that way it's good to have different roles, because sometimes we say you go blind if you do everything by yourself and you focus in just one direction. It's often easy to go a bit blind on the total picture. But by dividing roles, we make sure that different people have different view and responsible for different areas or different topics in the business model. And this is usually quite fruitful to get a more coherent solution in the end.
okay, Tor Atle, how many pictures do you have left?
Not so many.
Okay, it's okay. We have less than 15 minutes, and I would like to show it on the app. So okay, just continue.
You have the last slide. Actually, yep. The last slide is coming up. I call it summary. The interesting thing is, after I listened to us, is what to do now. This is also described in the course, but I thought that it might be fruitful if I made a short summary here of what to do next. What you should do is you should go through the relevant theory in the course regarding the entrepreneurship subjects, Osterwalder, and concurrent design. The next thing that you hopefully already have done is to present your business idea or join another business idea and form groups in Canvas. I know that many persons have started this job. And then the challenging tasks starts, because then you have to start talking to the persons in your group who are going to work with the same business idea and plan the first session. And we would recommend that you try to find out who have knowledge in the different areas of making a business plan and the 9 topics of Osterwalder. And we think it's a good idea that you divide main responsibility of the 9 topics of Osterwalder within your group. Then you have to agree on a communication tool and a tool for co-writing. Skype and Adobe and Google Docs might be a good choice. And the next thing you need to do now is to set some time for the first session. And the first session is the situation analysis. And there you will work with a situation analysis regarding the 9 Osterwalder topics. And of course, it's important now that you prepare before the first session, because when you have seen the business idea and talked a bit about the business idea, then you can try to look at the business idea regarding the 9 Osterwolder topics. And this is a good start before the first work session. The next thing you need to do is actually to meet to have the first online work session where you do the situation analysis. And at the end of the session, you should remember to agree on some homework before the next session. And the homework will typically be finalizing the situation analysis regarding the 9 topics, and also start preparing for the next session. So the list I made here, I think it's doable. And when you have finished the first session, you do the same for the next 3 sessions. Also called study of possibilities, selection of best solution, and final result approval. But more information about this you also will find within Canvas. So that was a short presentation from us. I don't know, we can leave some time now if someone have any questions, and I will try to answer them the best I can.
And meanwhile, you're thinking of good questions. I would like to show you what we have done. In this project, we have produced an application just for the Android. Sorry, but for you that doesn't have the Android, I have a PDF working document. So I will show you this very short, and it will help you to set up this. This picture in the background is from my home. Not today, but not so long ago. I will hide it. So the app looks like this. You can hear the Fight CCD process, and we continue. We can start an introduction to CCD, or we can continue directly to the calibration process, the first session, and so on. So this helps you to set up the environment, basic knowledge about the CCD process. I will just jump ahead. Introduction, and then you have the process calibration. And what you can do here is you can download a complete folder with all documents prepared, some basic documents, some examples that you can continue to use. But I'm not quite finished with this already, so I will upload the app and all these documents to our website. And there you can download either this PDF document, as you can see here, and it's working. You can use these buttons as if it was a real app. Actually, I can use this one now. There you have flight at Senfim, Portugal. This is the flight web page. So you can use this tool when trying to implement your own sessions. So hopefully it will be a little bit help to you, because it gives you a structure of the documents and some examples on how to work. But you get it in the course. Yes, this is the last webinar planned. Or Turate, do you have an urge to talk more?
No, it's the last webinar. The idea was that the first idea was not to have these webinars, because hopefully the course should be self-describing, but the area or our knowledge about concurrent design can be quite challenging. And the first webinar, it was more to give you some general idea of concurrent design. You might find this interesting in other things you're working with, and today we try to help you see how some concurrent design principles might be useful when you're working with the course. So it's more or less an extra bonus. If you find these webinars very useful, maybe you should ask for more, and maybe we can have a webinar within another area of this course also. But when it comes to the planned webinars, we have had 2 now, and this is actually was what we have planned. And hopefully you don't want any you don't want any more webinars, because you will go through the theory and you will start your work sessions and sit down discussing and working with your co-students trying to make a business plan. So you will be occupied, but we'll see.
Okay, we have some people writing here. So I put the web link to our website, and actually this folder you download from by the app also contains some documentations and links to more documentations. So if you want to dig deep into the CCD, you have a lot of more links to read.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can talk to each other.
I think unless you have some more questions, I would just wish you the best luck of going forward in this course, and I hope that group formation will work out fine for you, because there are many students who have signed on for this course, and we need to be able to form groups and so on. And I know that at least those of you who have been taking part in this webinar, or have seen it now on the internet, you will have a plan of what to do when you get into a group. That you should start planning some work sessions using some tools and some co-writing software, so that you can move forward in a good way. So hopefully this will work out fine for you.
Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, we can. I will put the link in the course as soon as possible in a couple of minutes. I have to open it in Connect first and publish the link. But see you soon in the course.
Bye bye. Nice
Bye
to meet
bye.
you.
Just I will turn off the recording.